Hello, welcome you guys. We are going to get right into it. Today we are going over the question, how to sell anything. It's a big question and I'm excited to go right into it and give you some of the tips that I've learned and know that work for whatever industry you're selling in, door to door, phone sales, it could be anything. These principles apply to any sales related industry. And so we're going to start with the first thing that you need to know before going into the process of selling. And in our last podcast, we talked about the psychology of sales. And so I'm not going to go over all of that again. I'm just going to give a brief highlight because that's the first thing you need to know in order to sell anything. And it's this statement: people buy with their emotion and they justify with logic. So people make buying decisions with their emotions, their wants, their needs, and then they justify whatever it is that they're feeling they want with some sort of logic. And so when you're going to the selling process, you need to recognize that if you're trying to sell somebody based on the logic of what you're offering, it could be a service, it could be a product, and you're focusing on all the features that you offer, that's when you're gonna lose. You're not gonna make the sell. You want to change the mindset. You want to talk about what it is that your offer or your service is going to provide that's going to alleviate some sort of pain. It's going to make their life easier. It's going to give them back time. It's going to provide a sort of value to them that they actually feel they want versus the idea of, oh yeah, those are cool features, but in the end, I really don't need this. I can go and do this, for half the price, or I could find another way to do it. So that's the first step to understanding how to sell anything, is that people are going to make their buying decisions based on their emotions. Once you understand this step, the next thing you have to do is you have to get good at your pitch. That's the first, I'd say this is the first step to selling anything. Once you understand the psychology of sales, that's like the pre-step. First thing you got to do is you got to get your pitch down. And so when I say getting your pitch down, this just means whatever industry you're in. So in door-to-door sales, with what I do pest control. So with my pest control pitch, I have memorized every aspect to that pitch to the point where I don't even have to think about it. It just comes out naturally. And so every time I walk up to a door, people start talking to me, I don't have to even think about what I'm going to say in my pitch because I already know what I need to say. I'm then able to focus 100% on that person and being a real authentic person instead of a robot, instead of somebody who's just trying to follow a script. And the only way you can get to that point is if you have the pitch totally down. And it takes time. It does take practice. So if you haven't done door-to-door sales yet, don't expect yourself to come off the door swinging that you're going to have everything totally memorized. It's not going to happen. You're going to have some mess ups. Even today, I make mess ups on a daily basis. But even then, I get to a point where I make very few mistakes. And the mistakes I make are usually pretty small ones. I'm able to make up for them pretty fast. So learning your pitch, and when I say learn a pitch, obviously you need to memorize it. Learning how to become confident. And then once you've got your pitch down, like the actual script itself, the next step is you need to get good at overcoming objections. And this is still all part of that first process. But a lot of times when you're practicing your pitches, most people are just learning the words and assuming the customer is going to say yes, yes, yes. Get good at practicing when somebody's going to say no to something, or they're going to throw out a common objection that you hear, or if you're new to the industry, you're not sure what common objections are. I'm sure you have a manager, you have a friend who could give you tons of them. Common ones in any industry are going to be, let me think about it, let me talk to my wife, let me talk to my spouse, it's kind of expensive, we don't make decisions on the spot, not interested. And so being able to go off right off the bat, as soon as you hear that, not letting it affect you, not having a pause, pause, stutter, because as soon as you do that the person wins, yeah, just leave me a card, come back another time, boom, and then they leave. Versus if somebody says something like, oh, I'm not interested, you're like, for sure, if you were interested, you would have already bought. No, the reason I'm here today is just so you know what we're doing and why a lot of your neighbors are trying this out. And the biggest thing that I think that you'll see benefit in is this. You were saying that you were seeing a lot of the ants. For your house, I didn't ask though, were you seeing those more in the front and the back? And that's the next step. The next step, well, actually that's the third step. We'll go back at track one. So we went over all the how to get good at your pitch. The next step is this: qualify quickly. Once you've learned your pitch, you need to learn how to qualify your customers quickly. Too often, and this is one of my biggest mistakes I made when I was in door-to-door, I just assumed everyone who listened to me was going to be a potential buying customer. And even people who didn't listen to me, people who were on the door, I just assumed that everyone was going to buy from me, and my job was to make them listen and to see the value in what I was offering and to buy. And every time someone didn't buy from me, it hurt. It made me feel bad. It made me feel like I was losing, that I wasn't doing my job right, and that I just sucked at my job. And for my first 3 days, I didn't sell anything because I had this mindset that I had to sell everyone, and I was so nervous, and I was so focused on saying all the right words. I was so focused on the pitch itself, and I wasn't focused on qualifying people who actually needed the service. And that is the biggest thing right there. So when I say qualify quickly, one thing to know, 10 to 20 seconds right there. You should know within 20 seconds, at least in door-to-door sales, and I think in almost any sell, it's going to be right around there. First 10 to 20 seconds, you're going to know really with like 90% surety that if this person's interested or not. So you got to get really good at qualifying, and the way you qualify is through asking questions, asking good questions. And that's your third step, and I call it getting ammo. So once you learn your pitch, once you get good at how to qualify people and how to qualify quickly, because that's what your job is. Your job is not to sell, in my case, it's pest control, it could be solar, it could be roofing, whatever it is. Your job is not to sell the service or the product. Your job is to qualify people who need the service and product and then put it in their lap and make them sign. That's all it is. Like, you're just helping them get to that next step. They didn't have to go to the store. They didn't have to do all the research of finding it. You walked up to their house and they bought from you. So once you've qualified, you need to get ammo. So getting ammo just means asking good questions that starts helping identifying what their needs and wants are and how you're going to solve and how you're going to provide a solution for it. So common things that I like to go about when I ask for my ammo, I'm getting my questions, I use and or questions. So when I say and or questions, it's something like this. Cool. Are you guys seeing more ants or spiders? Cool. Are you guys noticing those more in the front or the back? Cool. And when you guys had your guy here, was he looking at, I'm trying to think of something in solar. I can't think of anything in solar. I'm just going to stick with pests because that's what I know best in. So solar, inside, outside. Have you been noticing more in the kitchen, bathroom? That's what you need to do with pest control is you just need to get a lot of ammo. You want to get a lot of details. So that way, when they start giving you this info, you're able to then use that in your pitch, in your service pitch. And so whatever it is that you're selling, figure out what are the common and or questions that you could use in your industry, get lots of them down, and then start asking them before you get into your service pitch. That's part of your qualifying. You're saying, hey, cool, most people around here are seeing some of this. Were you guys noticing those as well, or are you getting some of this problem? Oh, you're having this problem. Okay, was it here or was it there? Okay, it was there, really. And was it this thing or was it specifically this thing? Okay, it's that thing. Perfect. Well, that's exactly why I'm here today. I'm actually going to be walking you through a few things because I was working with some of your neighbors, and while I'm here, we're going to actually do everyone on our group service promotion, so it's going to be really affordable. First thing I want to kind of go over with you is this, and then you go into your service pitch. So getting ammo, and then one of the big things people don't like to do is they take all this time to ask all these great questions. Like a lot of my reps I'll teach them, hey, you got to make sure you're asking good questions. But then once they ask the questions, they forget to ever use it. They just going to go right to their robotic pitch again. They start saying, hey, so what we're going to do to you, we give you 4 lines of defense. We're going to spray, we're going to granulate, we're going to sweep the eaves, we're going to go inside. And it totally blew past the fact that all they really needed was a solution for their spiders. All they really needed was a solution to this one specific problem. And so all you need to do is you ask these questions. Once you get them, use that ammo specifically. And a lot of times I compare it to, there's 2 types of like shooters. There's your shotgun and your sniper. A lot of times, like a rookie sales rep is a shotgun shooter. He's going to take just a crazy swing at it. He's going to hope that he hits it, and he shoots everything that he has at it. And unfortunately, it doesn't really stick. It's going to maybe get a couple dings here and there, but it's not very likely to actually hit the target that you're going for. If you are a sniper, you know exactly what you're aiming at. You have the target. You know what annoys them. You know what affects them. You know what they're wanting and needing. And you're just a sniper. You just target right onto that one thing, and you're going to focus on it, solve the problem, move on to the next solution, and find out what that problem was that they were having, find the solution for it, and get through it quickly. And once you're done with it, you're going to get on to the final step, and this step is close the deal. And so I'll go over close the deal, but just to recap, the first thing you need to understand, the first thing is understanding psychology. Salespeople buy with emotion. Second thing is you need to get really good at your pitch, have it memorized, be really, really solid with it, and get good at overcoming objections. Then you need to realize your job is to qualify quickly, 10, 20 seconds max, and you should be moving on to the next person if they're not ready. Don't waste your time with people who aren't ready to buy whatever service you're offering. Then once you've learned how to qualify, you do so by asking good questions. You get ammo. And once you get your ammo, make sure you use it. And you use it like a sniper. You don't use it like a shotgun. You don't just say everything that your offer, that your service provides. No, you just focus on the 1-2 things that they're needing. You can briefly mention, hey, we also offer these things as included with the service, but the main thing for you I know is just this, so we're going to focus and really tailor our service to this specific needs that you're having. And that way they feel like you're actually, it's that whole emotion thing. You're focused on their emotion. You're not trying to sell them on your features. You're focused on, hey, this is what you're needing. This is what we're going to solve. Done. And then you need to get to the final step. You need to be really good at this, which is close the deal. And closing a deal comes down to just a couple quick things. The first is you need them to commit today. You're not wanting them to say, hey, yeah, if someone's saying, hey, I want to take some time to think about it, you're like, sure, let's think about it. Then you get them to think about it and make the decision right then. You don't want someone to say, oh, come back, a couple weeks from now. Just really busy right now. I just need to think about it. When they say these things, it's, could they potentially be busy? Could they actually be needing something? Maybe. But the reality is they're not really that busy that they can't make a decision. If you can if you've did your job in creating a need and a want and then creating the solution for it, if the need is big enough, they're going to make the decision. So oftentimes if they're not willing to make a decision, it comes down to a few things. It could be that they're not the decision maker. It could be that they're really not that interested and you just reading it wrong the whole time. Or they just need a little bit of a push. And that's usually what it is they just need someone to kind of help them get over the edge. And that's how you're going to get good. That's what closing comes down to. It's just giving them that. You don't really say, hey, do you want to do this? You're like, cool. Do you want to do this today at 4 or do you want to do this today at 6? You give them an option close is what we say, but it's either option. It's the option that you're wanting. It's I want you to get it done today, but which one would work better for you? And that's how you close people is you give them option closes that are the options that you're wanting. Are you wanting the $5,000 package or the $10,000 package? I mean, obviously you'd rather $10,000, but either one, you're happy as long as you get the sell, right? And so you're just giving them the solution that you're wanting, and in the end they'll be like, well, if we do it, we're going to do the $5,000 package, or if we're going to do it, we're going to definitely do the $10,000 package. Like, cool. Tell you what I can do for you. Since we're getting you set on the schedule right now, I'll go ahead and I'll throw in this free add-on service. There's free add-on value to your package. So normally that would have been another like $300. We'll throw it in for free because you guys have been super cool with us. So that is the whole closing process. Is you need to make sure you're asking committing questions and you need them to commit today, now. You're not waiting for them to commit tomorrow. You're not waiting for them to think about it for a few days. That's not the way the sales process works. You can follow up if you have to, but every time you close, it's always for today. And then if they end up not making a decision, then you have to follow up, then that's fine. You follow up, but you don't ever leave like saying, okay, I'll follow up with you in a couple of days. It's like, no, we're going to make the decision today. And if they really can't make the decision today, they'll be the ones to tell you. And then the last little tip I was going to add here is when somebody says no, it's not something to be taken like, oh crap, they said no. No just means that you now have some more time to work with them and you're identifying what their specific need and want is more. You tried to get some of that ammo earlier and you maybe missed a couple things. So when they're telling you no, it's like, oh, I missed a couple things. Let me figure out what it is that you're missing and let me create that value that you're needing. Could be you need to lower your price a little bit. Could be that you need to be faster on your delivery. Whatever it is that this person wants and needs, there needs to be a guarantee that you forgot to bring up. Oh yeah, we actually offer this guarantee. Whatever it is, this person then all of a sudden is going to resolve that problem they have, and then you go right back to it. It's like, great, we'll get you guys set up real fast. What's your name? And you sign them up. And that is the process of how you can sell anything to anyone. Hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys do enjoy these things, I'd really appreciate leaving a like, review. I know it's going to help. And mostly just sharing. Sharing is the way that all podcasts are shared and grown. And so if you could do that, I'd be super appreciative. I'd really appreciate it. And until our next interview, thank you.